Good evening to you on this Tuesday. I'm Eitan Wallace, and welcome to Impeachment Wrap. Where does America stand? Our web-only live show that wraps up everything you need to know about today's impeachment hearing. And before we get into today's details, let's take a look back to the events that led to today. This entire impeachment process stems from a July phone call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine. The President Trump was accused of withholding military aid to Ukraine in exchange for investigations of the president's political rivals. Now, those accusations started a long, complicated impeachment process back in November. First, the proceedings went to the House Intelligence Committee, where witnesses testified about the accusations leveled against the president. Each party then wrote up a report about their findings based on that testimony. The reports were then sent to the House Judiciary Committee, where members of that committee reviewed the report, called witnesses, and ultimately decided to write up articles of impeachment. Now remember, articles of impeachment are considered legislation, and the articles then went to the House of Representatives for a vote whether or not to impeach the president. On December 18th of last year, in a vote of 230 to 197, the House voted to impeach President Donald J. Trump on the charge of abuse of power, and in a vote of 229 to 198 on the charge of obstruction of Congress. And the process is now in the Senate, where a jury trial is taking place. Chief Justice John Roberts is the judge here, and the senators make up the jury. At least 67 senators would need to vote in favor of removing the president from office. Now, given that the Senate is comprised of 53 Republicans and 45 Democrats, that could be a difficult task to remove the president from office. Now, today, the Senate impeachment officially began. There were a number of administrative duties for the Senate to consider, including voting on a resolution that will set the rules for the trial. Now, Camilla Bernal has those details from Capitol Hill.
Today is all about the technicalities, it's all about the rules, and it's all about Mitch McConnell wanting this trial to be over as soon as possible. Nonetheless, it is a historic day. It's only the third time that senators will consider whether or not to remove a sitting president from office.
The Senate will
As the Senate gets ready to begin the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump, there's still a fight over how it will proceed.
This is clearly an attempt to rig the trial.
Democrats accusing Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of rushing the process and attempting to cover up President Trump's alleged wrongdoing.
It appears that Leader McConnell decided to go along with the president's desire to cover up his wrongdoing. Hook, line, and sinker.
And Republicans arguing the Senate process will be fair.
The Senate's fair process will draw a sharp contrast with the unfair and precedent-breaking inquiry that was carried on by the House of Representatives.
But reaffirming the Senate will not reinvestigate the president.
The House chose not to pursue the same witnesses. They apparently would now like the Senate to pre-commit to pursuing ourselves. As I've been saying for weeks, nobody will dictate Senate procedure to United States senators.
This begins just the third presidential impeachment trial in U.S. history, following President Trump's impeachment on December 18th. Now, after all this is over, each side gets 24 hours for opening arguments. It is going to be divided into 3 days. Then 16 hours for questions from the senators that they write, and then they will be read out loud by the Chief Justice, John Roberts. And then the big question, will we have witnesses? Democrats need at least 4 Republicans to side with them in order to get witnesses in this trial, which could extend the length of the trial. If all Republican senators back Mitch McConnell, this trial could end fairly quickly. Reporting on Capitol Hill, I'm Camilla Bernal.
All right, Camila, thanks so much. Meantime, a new CNN poll shows that a slim majority of Americans think President Trump should be removed from office. It reported that 51% of the people it surveyed said that the Senate should vote to convict the president in the upcoming impeachment trial. Now, 45% of the people were against conviction and removal. Nearly 7 in 10, or 69%, say that an upcoming trial should feature testimony from new witnesses who did not testify in the House impeachment inquiry. This is the first major national telephone poll since the articles of impeachment were sent to the Senate. Surveyors also asked about 2 charges against the president. They found a majority believe he committed abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. And we wanted to hear from you for a poll of our own. Today we've been asking, do you believe the impeachment has been a fair process? With 1,568 of you voting, 23% say yes and 77% say no. Here are a few of your comments. Jackie Reyes writes, Democrats are impeaching Trump over political power misuse, but they seem to be doing the same exact thing, as well as wasting time and taxpayer money just to get their personal vendettas satisfied. And a text comment reads, no, because the president and his cabinet refused to let witnesses testify and hand over requested documents. Those were not the only local reactions today. Congressman Kevin McCarthy took to Twitter to express his thoughts. From the start, McCarthy has said he believes the impeachment process has not been fair to the president. On Twitter today, he went after some of the House impeachment managers, writing Speaker Pelosi's impeachment managers, Chairman Adam Schiff of Burbank, who has repeatedly lied and tried to hide the facts. Chairman Jerry Nadler said a partisan impeachment is like overturning an election. And Representative Hakeem Jeffries, who voted to impeach a year before the Ukraine phone call took place. We also got a chance this morning to catch up with Cal State Bakersfield political science professor Janine Crable to discuss the significance of the trial.
Well, it's historical in a sense because this is the third president to be impeached and actually face a trial in the Senate. And so it's significant in that regard. It's also significant because of the fact that it's coming on the heels of the 2020 primary. So seeing how it is that the American public will respond to the Senate's proceedings and how they will also be thinking about the Senate's proceedings in light of the upcoming 2020 primary season.
So, you may be wondering, what comes next? Well, the trial officially gets underway tomorrow at 10 a.m. our time. Then, House Democrats will begin with their opening statements, and of course, you can catch that live on TV 17, on our Facebook page, and on our website, kget.com. All right, well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks so much for watching Impeachment Wrap. Where does America stand? We will be back same time tomorrow with more impeachment details. For all of us at Circle 17, I'm Eitan Wallace, wishing you a wonderful evening. Good night.